Oh, Langley, my dear, how good of you to come.
So good of you to call, my dear.
Please do forgive the last-minute business, but, well, I hope I didn't interfere with your work.
Oh, not at all. As I told you, I just finished a rather grueling morning at the public library. I was ready for a little rest and relaxation. And how better than in your lovely company?
How sweet of you to say so. Oh, let me take your coat.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, would you care for a bit of sherry before luncheon?
Oh, I'd be delighted. May I?
Oh, please do.
Right.
You may as well know, my dear, that in coming here you have saved me from a fate worse than death.
Oh, my. What could that be?
Well, my granddaughter-in-law is trying to get me to go out in the country on a house-hunting expedition with her.
Aha! And so my visit has provided you with an out.
Not that was the only reason for my requesting the pleasure of your company. However, if she should happen to drop by, she will see that I did indeed have a luncheon engagement.
Well, I never did think that I would be indebted to your granddaughter-in-law, but I'm glad I am.
Oh.
Cheers, my dear.
Baltrasante. Well, Langley, Donna is so unsuited to be a member of this family. Now, I just wish Chuck would write this marriage off as a horrible mistake.
Well, she is a bit gauche.
Oh, you put it very kindly, my dear. Actually, she's intolerable.
Well, my dear, you may take heart in being spared another undesirable daughter-in-law in your family when I tell you the news.
You're speaking of Kelly Cole.
She was indicted by the grand jury this morning for the murder of Eddie Durrance.
It is at last a fait accompli.
I heard it on the car radio coming over here.
Oh, my dear, it is such a relief. At long last to be out from under that cloud of suspicion.
And now the sun is shining through again, and we shall be able to go ahead with our plans, dear Phoebe.
Oh, and there is such a heavenly future before us.
With the one and only woman whom I have ever truly loved by my side.
Langley.
Oh, my dearest Phoebe.
I had no luck then.
No. Neither Mark nor I could find a trace of them.
Did you check out the disco?
Oh, yes, and the goalpost and their apartment. To say nothing of all the messages I left for her to call me immediately.
Then she doesn't know that Tom suspects her of using some form of birth control.
No. And by now I'm afraid it may be too late, Charles. I'm sure he must have caught up with her by now.
What did you do that for?
I want to talk to you.
Well, fine, but that's no reason to come barging in here, disconnecting me from my mother.
You hadn't reached her yet.
Well, I had just finished dialing. What's the matter with you?
Oh, there's plenty the matter with me.
Well, I'll just have to wait until after I've called my mother.
There's no need for you to call your mother.
Tom, I just want to get her off my back. She's been leaving messages for me all over the place.
I know why your mother's been trying to reach you, but it's a little bit late for her to come to your rescue.
Come to my rescue? What are you talking about?
I am talking about the fact that she is obviously trying to warn you that I am on to your game, Erica. But it's too late, because I already know that you have been on the pill.
It isn't easy for Kelly, but she is sticking to the recommended drug dosage and doing it voluntarily. So my main concern right now is with her psychological state.
You mean her guilt feelings?
Yeah. She still has them. Because it's quite understandable, since she can't remember where she was or what she was doing the night of the murder. And, of course, there are fingerprints on the gun.
Yeah, but she explained all that, Joe.
Yes, I know, but it's still preying on her mind. Well, that, together with the indictment and being remanded without bail.
It's going to be rough on her.
Yeah. Well, it's not been too rough on her right here in the hospital, but it will be once she's sent back to that jail cell.
You're afraid she might have a setback?
I'd feel a lot better about it if I knew that she was continuing to have sessions with Dr. Polk.
Well, I tell you, Joe, I have a feeling that what I have to tell her might change all that. Oh? I've got some information that should convince Kelly once and for all that she had nothing at all to do with Durance's murder.
Well, it was obvious from the beginning, Langley, that Kelly Cole person had to be the murderer.
Well, perhaps your son will concede that now.
Oh, I do hope so. And then wash his hands of that girl once and for all. Would you, dear?
My pleasure. It's so difficult to imagine the attraction. I mean, she's so blatantly not his type.
Well, nor was Kitty, for that matter. Although she was a cut above that common nightclub singer.
She was Kelly's twin.
Exactly. And that is the beginning and the end of the attraction for Lincoln, as far as I can see.
Well, you may be sure that my attraction to you is unique and incomparable, my darling.
My dearest, have you really, truly, never, ever really been in love before?
Not like this, where my every thought is of you, my only desire to be near you. Oh, Phoebe, my dear, I can't wait to embark on our new life together. When I wake up each morning and see your glorious face by my side.
Oh, my dearest.
And you know, now that our future is looking so optimistic, I think it requires a little celebration. You know, to proclaim our love to the world.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Well, at least you can go ahead with your own plans for the housewarming. I mean, to show off this wonderful recent new splendor.
That only proves that our minds work on exactly the same wavelength. That is the same thought that I had.
Have you really?
Yes, I've even talked to Claudette about it, and she's agreed she's going to cater it from the chateau.
Now, that's a smart idea. She's a lady with excellent good taste.
Indeed she is. And you, my darling, you shall be my host.
Oh, what a delight it will be to appear in public together. Oh, I wish that it could be our engagement party, dear Phoebe.
Oh, darling, that wouldn't be proper at all. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly do that, not till my divorce from Charles is final.
Yes, I know. But I long for the day when we can shout our love from the rooftops. Let the whole world share in our happiness.
Oh, Langley, that is such a sweet thing to say. You know, darling, I would love nothing better than to announce our engagement at the housewarming, but we have to remember there are all those petty minds out there. They're so ready to pounce on any kind of gossip.
Yes, I know. We must be careful not to encourage anything of that sort, even though we know that it's sheer jealousy that inspires it.
Exactly. Oh, my dear, that reminds me. Speaking of petty minds, there is someone who is making the most outlandish allegations in regard to you.
Really? And what could that be? And by whom?
Well, the whom is that dreadful Myrtle Fargate person.
Myrtle Fargate?
Yes, you know, the Kelly's roommate or a surrogate mother, whatever she calls herself.
Well, what kind of allegation has she made?
Oh, well, it's just too ridiculous for words, but she claims, she, of all people, that she has known you somewhere in your past.
On the pill? Tom, where did you ever hear a thing like that?
It isn't true?
I'm asking you where you heard that.
Erica, I am not a total fool. I knew something was wrong.
Oh, I see. So you jumped immediately to that conclusion.
I happened to run into Dr. Clater this morning at the hospital.
And he told you that?
Are you going to listen or are you going to interrupt?
Well, so what did Dr. Clater say?
Dr. Clater was very surprised when I told him how disappointed we were that you hadn't been able to conceive yet. And when I questioned him, he became evasive and eventually made excuses to leave.
Well, what does that prove?
Let me finish. It's not what he said so much that bothered me, but his strange reaction to my questions. So I went to see your mother.
My mother?
And your brother Mark happened to be in her office. So I asked the two of them. I asked them if they knew of any reason why you couldn't get pregnant. And their reaction was even stranger than Dr. Clater's. And that's when I began to suspect the truth.
How dare you talk about our personal lives to my mother and my brother? And how dare they interfere in something that is none of their business?
They did not interfere. Far from it. They did everything they could to protect you.
Protect me? I haven't done anything.
Then you tell me why you haven't gotten pregnant.
Well, that doesn't mean that I don't want to.
Then why did your brother tell me to ask you that question?
Oh, I see. You're taking his word over mine.
I am asking you a question. Are you taking birth control pills or are you not?
Well, I am not going to depend against the wall by you, Tom Cudahy.
It is a simple question, Erica. It requires a yes or no.
I am not going to be intimidated by my mother and my brother.
No one is intimidating you.
What proof do they have for these accusations?
No one's accusing you. I'm not accusing you, and they're not accusing you. I am asking you a question, and I am waiting for an answer.
An answer you think you already know.
Am I wrong?
You see, you will believe everyone except your wife.
I am waiting to hear from my wife.
Well, I won't dignify that question with an answer.
You can't even tell the truth now, can you?
Well, you know the truth. I want a baby as much as you do.
Then why are you taking these?
Where did you get that?
I found them in the back of your dresser drawer.
You had the nerve to go snooping in my things?
I had to because it seems to be the only way to get the truth out of you.
Myrtle Fargate? I think, whatever are you talking about?
Well, I heard it from Benjamin. He says that woman claims that she knows you from somewhere.
Why, that's ridiculous. When would our paths ever have crossed?
Precisely what I said. I said your backgrounds were far too divergent.
Well, where would the woman have come up with such an idea?
Well, I don't know, but evidently she made that statement to Edna, and then Edna repeated it to Benjamin.
Edna? Well, of course. Edna's had it in for me ever since she had the mistaken notion that I was interested in her.
She claims that Myrtle even mentioned it to you one time.
Mentioned it to me? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't remember any such occasion.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. Will you give me just a moment, please?
Oh, but of course, dear.
Hello? Oh, Anita. I haven't heard from you in a long time. Oh, really? Where did you hear that? And you mean they actively accepted the application? Oh, how horrible.
You gotta be kidding, Langley. I kid you not, Eddie. I know that woman.
What did you didn't admit that, did you?
Certainly not. I gave her the business and got out of there as quick as I could. If it ever comes to her where we met.
Where was it?
Oh, it was years ago on a carnival. I snatched a purse.
You what?
That's right. And the old battle axe got a stranglehold on me and beat me within an inch of my life.
Wait a minute, just 1 minute. You mean Myrtle did that?
That woman is a powerhouse. She's definitely the violent type. She sent me straight to the fuzz.
Where did all this happen?
Oh, it's engraved on my mind. Topeka, Kansas. I can see the jail cell now.
You're talking about your small worlds.
It's not funny, Edward.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
If she figures out who I am, and I'm in deep trouble.
I have got something very important that I want to ask you.
What?
Well, it's so obvious I don't know why it didn't occur to me before, but... Kelly, I want you to remember back very carefully to the night of the murder.
I can't. I can't remember anything after I ran out. I just can't.
But I'm not talking about afterwards. I'm talking about before. Do you remember anything at all? Because you remember Ed right up to that point, don't you?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now you tell me this. Did you ever go into Eddie's office before your first performance that night and steal his gun?
No, of course not. I wouldn't want to touch it.
Good. Kelly, we've got nothing to worry about.
What are you talking about?
Darling, it's so simple. It's so simple. I don't know why I didn't see it before. There is no way in the world that you could have killed Eddie. Because don't you remember? Freddie said that Eddie's gun had been stolen before your first performance that night. You see? You see, somebody else had to have taken that gun. Somebody else had to have killed Eddie. Even if by some far stretch of the imagination you'd gone running out of the chateau, gone to Eddie's office to get the gun, it wasn't there, Kelly.
That's terrific.
Darling, you are innocent. And I'm going to be able to prove that in court now. We are going to be able to lick this thing together.
I think I believe you, champ. For the first time, I think I believe you.
Well, you just stick with me. We're going to come out punching.
Well, Erica? Are you still going to deny it?
I just don't believe that you had the nerve to go snooping in my things like some kind of a sneak thief.
To think that you could lie to me about something like this.
I had good reason.
There is no good reason to lie about wanting a baby.
Well, I had to, Tom. You were so insistent.
And you, so willing.
Listen, I haven't been on the pills for a long time.
Oh, come on.
No, I really haven't. I just started going on them, you know, because of the disco.
The disco?
Well, I didn't dare get pregnant now, you know. I just wanted to get the place off the ground.
Is that right? Then you tell me why there are only 5 pills left out of a full container.
Tom, there are only 28 pills in the whole container to begin with.
Which means that you have been on them for at least 23 days. No telling how many other containers before this one.
No, that's not true. I only had just that one.
What difference does it make when you went off them or on them? You lied to me. You told me all along you wanted to have a baby. And all the time these were stuck in the back of your drawer.
I was going to go off them. I really was.
No. No, it's too late. Because I don't care if you choke on these pills.
Oh, don't say that.
I told you after your disco deceit that if you lied to me one more time, that would be the end of our marriage.
But I didn't lie to you.
You lied to me every time you took one of those pills.
But you can't mean that that's the end of our marriage.
That is exactly what I mean.
But I'll go off the pills. I'll go off them right now.
You did not hear what I said, Erica. I said it's too late. I don't care what you do now. Our marriage is finished.
You don't mean that. You can't mean that.
I want you out of my apartment, and I want you out now.
Your apartment?
Yes, my apartment, my furniture. And I want you and your belongings out, and I want you out now. Is that understood?
Tom, you can't be serious. I mean, you can't throw me out of my own home.
My home! My home before I ever met you, and I'll not be inconvenienced.
Well, I won't be either. I mean, I'm your wife, Tom.
You have destroyed our marriage, and you will be the one to move out.
I just told you I'll go off the pills. I'll go off them right now.
And I just told you that I don't care. Now you get out of here. And you get your bags packed, and you get everything out of the apartment by tonight, or I will throw everything on the street.
Tom, please don't do this to me. We can work it out.
There's nothing left to work out. You called the shots, Erica. You're getting just what you asked for.
But where will I go?
Frankly, I don't give a damn.
I still can't see that Kelly did it. I mean, no matter how much she hated Eddie.
Well, come on, the case against her is purely circumstantial.
Yes, I understand that. Even under the influence of drugs, I can't see Kelly killing anybody.
I know. She couldn't have.
I still don't understand why they went ahead and charged her when Myrtle confessed.
Well, because the confession was proved false, and then Myrtle had to come forward finally and admit that it was just an attempt to try and save Kelly.
Even so, I'd say Myrtle was more capable of murder than Kelly.
Oh, why?
Well, she made no bones about her hatred for Eddie. She even threatened his life if he got Kelly back on drugs.
Well, Paul, what a welcome sight you are.
Well, not so welcome as to see you back here at your old stamping grounds.
Well, thank you kindly, sir. I guess you've come to see Ellen, huh?
Uh-huh. Is she here?
She is indeed.
Oh, no, we're just looking pretty as a picture.
Oh,
Listen,
thank you.
why don't you come with me? Let me feed you lunch, and I'll show you off.
Oh, I can't.
Well, you have to eat, don't you?
Well, yes, but I really have got some new merchandise to unpack and mark.
Oh, go on, Ellen. You know I can do that.
Not mind the store at the same time, you can't.
Are you trying to say that I've lost my knack, huh?
No, I am trying to say I don't have time for lunch.
Listen, you're not as smart as I thought you were if you don't have time for the best-looking man in town.
Listen, Myrtle, I'm going to take you to lunch.
Well, I don't think I'd better compete with the boss lady here. Listen, I wish you'd go. You know, I get a lot more done when you're not here.
Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I second that. Go on, will you? Get your coat.
Get your coat.
Yeah, grab your hat.
And leave my worries at the door.
You said
right?
it. Go on, will you?
Yes, sir. That's provided it's only a quick lunch in the neighborhood, okay?
Look, I have got some people over there already warming up the seats on the hearth. Will you please go? Go!
Such a beast. I love it.
How's Kelly?
Well, she's getting better.
Good.
According to Link. I haven't seen her myself since last night. It seems, it seems I'm not allowed to.
I know, that's right. Only her attorney and the hospital personnel.
Yeah. Well, your brother's tending her, so that makes me feel better.
Oh, well, he's only the best.
Yeah, he's a fine man. Not just as a doctor, but he's got so much compassion and understanding for Kelly's problem.
Well, he cares a lot about her, as we all do.
Yeah, I know that. And Link is going to get her out of this mess. I know that, too. And then the nightmare will be over, and they'll have the good life that they deserve.
I'm all set, Counselor.
Oh, that's my girl. Here's
Well-
and another little kiss here to my other girl.
That's nice. Now, you have a nice, long, lingering lunch.
Yes. Yeah, you know where to reach us, don't you? If you hear anything from Kelly.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Now, go along. Don't hurry back.
I won't.
Do me a favor.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Well. If it ain't Professor Wallingford. And what can I do for you, honey?
You can keep that loose tongue of yours from wagging, Mrs. Fargate, before it gets you into a lot of trouble.
It was sweet of you to come by.
Well, it was sweet of Myrtle to kick you out of the boutique so you could have lunch with me.
Yes. She's wonderful, isn't she? Poor thing, though, she's still so worried about Kelly.
I know, so are we all.
Now, it's not that she doesn't have complete confidence in Link. It's just that she knows it's not going to be easy.
She's right, it's not going to be. I wouldn't want Myrtle to know this, but I think that Lincoln is the wrong man to defend Kelly.
Why?
It has nothing to do with his ability as an attorney, you understand? It's just I really feel that he ought to think twice before he takes Kelly's case.
You think he's too close to her?
I just don't think he's going to have the objectivity that's necessary.
Did you mention that to him?
Yes, I did. I told him that I was dead set against it.
But, of course, he doesn't agree with you.
Not in the least. He really feels like that this emotional involvement is going to give him the edge. He truly feels that he'll be able to speak for Kelly with much more conviction.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
At least I did get him, though, to go and discuss this thing with her and let it be her option, so. Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much. When, thank you very much. When did you see Link?
I went to his office this morning.
Was that the only reason?
I went there to tell him that I was reinstating the divorce action.
What did he say?
What could he say? He accepted it.
Then it's official.
Now, look here. Anne has regressed, and Dr. Wilson has not been able to give any hope that Anne will ever have a recovery.
Would he say that in court?
He really doesn't want to, but at least he's agreed that I should get another psychiatrist who can evaluate Anne's condition, somebody that I feel would be a little bit more objective.
Objectivity again. I still wonder how objective we're being about Anne.
Now, you listen here. You're not going to give me a hard time again, now, are you?
No. No. Because there's nothing really more to be said.
Everything is going to work out perfectly.
I hope so. Because the only thing I really want is your love.
You got that.
How dare you, Mother? Erica, when are you going to learn to keep your nose out of my private life? What happened? What do you think happened? After you and Mark told Tom about the birth control pills.
That's not true, Tom. Mark and I spent the entire morning looking for you, trying to warn you.
Okay, maybe you didn't come out and say it, but you might as well have.
Erica, would you please calm down and just tell me what happened?
Tom threw me out. That's what happened. He never wants to see me again.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And it is all your fault. Yours and my brother Mark's. You two big mouths. You ruined my life.
Erica, that's not true. We said nothing. Tom practically knew when he walked into this office.
Why didn't you lie to him? Why didn't you tell him it wasn't true?
Because we had no idea what Dr. Clater had said.
Well, you didn't even try to help me. And now I don't have a husband, and I don't even have a home to go to.
Oh, I don't think he meant it like that.
He told me to pack my things and get out by tonight, or he'd put my things on the street.
Well, couldn't you think of anything to say?
He wouldn't believe me. He said he would never believe me again. Well, my marriage is just over.
Oh, honey. I don't know what to say.
Oh, don't say anything. Just go to Tom and you change his mind.
I can't do that.
Mother, you are the one who got me into this mess.
Look, Erica, give Tom a little time. He'll cool down.
He will not cool down. And waiting is just going to make things worse.
But what good would I do? I mean, he wouldn't listen to me.
Can't you even try to help me? Or don't you care what happens to me?
Of course I care. I mean, for heaven's sake, why do you think I spent the entire morning desperately trying to find you? In order to warn you.
Never mind about that. You just go to Tom. Just go to him, Mother, before it is too late.
Too late?
Don't you understand? Somebody has got to go to Tom and talk sense into him before he does something drastic. Like go to a lawyer and get a separation agreement or divorce.
Oh, honey. Tom would not do anything as rash as that.
You didn't see him. You don't know how angry he is at me, Mother. Please. Please, I'm begging you. Please go to my husband and tell him that it was all a terrible mistake. He can't leave me, Mother. He can't.
But I can't interfere, Eric. It's not my place.
Mother, please. Please, if you love me at all, help me. I can't lose him.
Erica?
Please, Mother, please. Go to Tom. I have no life without him. I will kill myself if I lose him.
Well, your pulse is good. And you have a bit more color than you did this morning.
I think it's getting better.
Link had some good news for you?
Yes.
best news since this whole mess started.
Oh, that's fine.
He told me that I couldn't have taken the gun because it was already stolen by the time that I ran out of the chateau. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, he told me he had something positive to tell you.
How long will you keep me here?
Well, Kelly, we are making progress. A couple more days or so.
It's funny, you know, I always wanted to get this junk out of my body. It's just that I have to go back to that cell.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's so.
Well, you're not going to be in too big a hurry to get rid of me, are you?
Not going to let you go, Kelly, until you're perfectly fit, physically. But on the other hand, I can't keep you here indefinitely.
Oh, I know that. I know. Even with the bars on the window and the guard at the door, I just don't feel like a prisoner. I think it has to do with your bedside manner.
Maybe. Listen, Kelly, I really don't think you have to be overly concerned about all this. I mean, Link seems to me to be right on top of the case. And I'm just sure that this whole ordeal will be over soon.
Sure. I just worry about Myrtle. You know, I don't like her alone in that house for too long.
No, listen, don't you worry about Myrtle. We're all keeping tabs on her. She's going to be all right.
I beg your pardon?
It has been brought to my attention that you have been spreading malicious rumors about me, Mrs. Fargate. And I warn you, I shan't sit still for that kind of slander.
And what exactly are you referring to?
The ridiculous assumption that you and I have met in the past.
Oh, that ain't an assumption, sweetheart. That is a fact. We have met. Only you weren't no professor then.
There is no way in this world that our paths would have ever crossed, Mrs. Fargate. And you have been impugning my reputation with statements and insinuations that I have some sort of shadowy past.
I ain't impugning nothing, but does the shoe fit?
The shoe most definitely does not fit. It's quite clear that you're using this as a ploy to throw the authorities off the track in your attempt to obscure your own feelings of guilt about Eddie Durance's murder.
My feelings of guilt?
Or those of your cohort, Miss Kelly Cole. Obviously, one or the other of you is the culprit.
Now, just hold it. Just hold it right there.
It won't work, Mrs. Fargate. You and I have never met before in our lives.
Oh, yes, honey, we've met. And one of these days, I'm going to remember exactly where and when and what your real name is.
My name is Professor Langley Wallingford. My world has been academe, an area which one of your class would enter only through the back door.
Baloney. If you're a professor, I'm the Queen of Sheba.
We have been through this before, Mrs. Fargate. If you persist in making these slanderous accusations, I will not hesitate to take legal action against you.
You're getting a bit hot under the collar, ain't you, Professor?
That is all I have to say. The police are quite satisfied with my credentials. I suggest that you respect their good judgment. Good day.
I've met that clown before. I just can't quite remember where. But I know one thing for sure. He is bluffing.
It's not fair to you, my dear, to use your mother's love this way. It's high time you started to solve your own problems.
Dr. Tyler, I had every right to ask my mother to intercede for me. After all, if it hadn't been for my mother, I wouldn't be in this mess.
I don't believe that for a minute. You were the one using the pill and then lying to your husband about it.
My mother told you that?
We have no secrets from each other.
Well, my mother had no right to talk to you about something like that.
Well, whom else would she talk to?
It's just another example of my mother's constant interference into my private affairs.
Do you call what she's doing now interfering?
I'd call it the very least she could do under the circumstances after she broke a confidence to my husband.
Broke a confidence? Erica, your mother was frantically trying to reach you all morning to warn you about Tom's suspicions.
Oh, please, Dr. Tyler, if my mother had really wanted to reach me, she could have.
Well, I'm sorry it's happened anyway, and I hope your mother can do some good for you.
I'm so sorry, Tom. I can't help but feel that I'm partly responsible.
That's foolish, Mrs. Kane. You're not responsible.
I knew what she was doing. I should have told you.
It wasn't your place to tell me.
Tom, I wish I could persuade you to find it in your heart to forgive her, to give your marriage another chance.
No, Mrs. Kane, I have given it all the chance I'm going to give it.
Erica is very sorry. She'd do anything to make this up to you.
It's too late, Mrs. Kane. I have taken all the lies I can take.
She didn't mean them as lies.
I know what she meant. She meant to keep me quiet. She meant to placate me so she could go on doing her own thing. Well, I was just an excuse for Erica. Someone where she could tack a Mrs. in front of her name.
That's not true. She loves you very much.
In her fashion.
No, she does. She truly does. She begged me to ask you to forgive her. To give her another chance.
Mrs. Kane, it's too late. If I take Erica back now, I would lose every ounce of self-respect that I have left.
Do you love her, Tom?
I don't know how I feel about Erica now. I only know that I can't take any more. She has deceived me since before we were married. Her phony desire to want to become a Catholic. And the numbers she pulled with the annulment with Jeff, everything was supposed to be okay, no problem. You know what a mess that was.
I remember that.
And the fiasco with Richmond and the Adonis campaign. And she made a complete fool out of me. She practically got herself raped. And then the disco. But this, I mean, to lie to me about wanting to have a baby, that is the worst and most unforgivable deceit. And there is no way that I can ever trust Erica again.
Not even if she's learned her lesson?
It's too late, Mrs. Kane. If a marriage is not founded on trust, then it's not founded. It isn't as though I threw Erica a curve. She knew that I wanted to have a family. And she wanted to wait. Why didn't she just tell me?
I know you're right. I begged her to come to you. I begged her to tell you the truth,
But
Tom.
it would have been against Erica's own best interests. And that is all Erica cares about. Being in the limelight. Going her own way. Well, she can do whatever she wants to now. Because our marriage is finished. And I don't think that even you can deny that, Mrs. Kane.
I'm sorry, Tom. I'm so very sorry.
I'm sorry, too. I tried, Mrs. Kane. You can't say I never tried.
I'll leave you now. Tom, thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming by.
Goodbye, Tom.
Goodbye, Mrs. Kane.